Oh boy, thank you, Dr. Tillman. Those are some memorable pictures. Uh, I still have that bandana, by the way. All right. Members and guests, it has truly been a great honor and privilege to serve as the president of the Southern Surgical Association for the past year. And this is a brief overview of my address today. Well, we'll see what this works. All right. Okay, just to kind of dovetail to Rhonda's intro, nearly 50 years ago, my family immigrated from Seoul, Korea. For those of you who may not be too familiar with the maps in the Asia, oops. I think this skipped a whole bunch. Thank you. If you go to the click, I'll do it. Got it. So back then, this is actually a photograph dating back in 1970. It was a very modest-sized capital, still trying to recover from the Korean conflict in the 50s, as well as domestic political turmoil after a military coup. Today, Seoul is much different. It's a thriving metropolitan of nearly 10 million people. And if you have children, you know all about K-pop. And these are actually some of the additional pictures that I just really am fond of. My brothers and I often hanging out with our grandparents who had significant influences on me and my two younger brothers. Ted is here today with Ann, his wife. Thank you. My father, who passed away a decade ago, and mother's still alive, but somewhat struggling, say. She's 92 years old. All right, so this is my roots, professional roots, UTMB. The building, the medical school called Old Red. This is a picture of what it was back in 1891. Pretty historic building, the Asheville Smith building of UTMB Medical School. And this was from an anatomy lab. You can actually see the writing of 1891 at the bottom. It's pretty grotesque looking how the dissections were done a century ago. And this is the Old Red, fully restored and renovated back in the late 80s, just before celebrating its century landmark. This is a photo showing the Department of Surgery. Faculty seemed like it was yesterday. Many of the great mentors, teachers, incredible surgeons that I had the absolute privilege of being trained under. Now, I remain incredibly grateful to medical education I received there, but more importantly to very special mentorship I received from so many great surgical minds and leaders. UTMB Department of Surgery certainly shaped my surgical career from the get-go, and these giant surgical leaders shown here continue to do so even today. Obviously, Dan Beecham sadly passed away in 2022, but you recognize all of them deeply involved in Southern Surgical Association, with Drs. Townsend, Evers, Herndon, all serving as presidents in years 2004, 14, and 16, respectively. I'm eternally grateful to their caring and personal mentorship and friendship throughout my career, and many more. Pat Walker, I see him in the audience, just really forever indebted. Throughout my career, I've been fortunate to have worked with so many wonderful colleagues, friends. Here's another dearest friend. Many of you in this audience was very close to Brad Warner, who passed away way too young earlier this year. And this is a photograph from many pediatric surgical friends. I see several of you out there that we like to work hard, but we also like to have some fun. We certainly, surgeons, work hard and know how to have good time. These show many great moments that we treasure together. I'm so thankful for a number of the colleagues and friends from UT Southwestern having made the trip here today. Of course, surgical residents and fellows have all been very special to me. Several are in the audience this morning. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for believing in my academic vision and your willingness to follow. And of course, for the past 7 years, experiences at Southern Surgical Association have been extraordinarily special. So many great friendships, mentorship, thank you all. Many more that I couldn't possibly include in this one slide. And it was as said by Rhonda, thank you, Kate, and Ryan, Travis, they made the trip today in the front for all that you've done. And so many times keeping me out of trouble and keeping the association out of trouble. And my family, Ted is here with Ann, both taking time away from their busy clinical practices. Thank you. Yes, 2 daughters enjoy horses, and it's been a really interesting evolution of their passionate hobby. And of course, love of my life, Kimberly, with our twin daughters. Dr. Herndon often reminds us how I stole Kim away from Shiner's burn rehab department, where she worked her tail off being the best at taking care of burn kids as physical therapist. And thank you, Kim, for your unwavering love and support for the past 31 years that we have been married. From the time you've helped me sacrifice skull burn rat for my first research project. Yes, I dragged her into my lab too. That's how it was. For being the best mom for our beautiful twin daughters. Well, it is an extraordinary honor to stand here and address the association, organization that has shaped so many great national leaders. Founded in 1887, the Southern Surgical Association is one of the most storied societies in American surgery. For 137 years, our association has championed scientific rigor, mentorship, and camaraderie. We gather each year not only to hear science, but to reconnect. And with our roots and to honor those who came before us to strengthen the values that define us. The theme of my address today is tradition and transformation. We stand at a moment where surgery, medicine, and healthcare systems are changing at a pace unmatched in our lifetime, yet the identity of surgical association stood by Southern Surgical remains constant. Collegiality, intellectual rigor, lifelong mentorship, and devotion to excellence. Our task is to honor these traditions while embracing the transformation, shaping the future of surgical science. Our ethos is grounded in excellence. Excellence in surgical science, clinical care, and humanism. We're an organization built on relationships, mentorship that spans decades, friendships forged in training, intellectual debate conducted with civility. Traditions still matters. It shapes us expectations, creates continuity across generations. It gives us, our association, a sense of academic, family, and intellectual heritage. As Townsend, Evers, Herndon each articulated in their respective presidential address, our lineage is one of scientific inquiry, mentorship, and translating knowledge to improve the lives of patients. Despite the perception out there, yes, we Southern Surgical Association have modernized significantly in recent years. Some of you may not even know what this is. This is called overhead projector. Yes, we actually, organization uses it for decades. We moved away from overhead projector to laptop PowerPoint seamlessly. Newsletters and all the messaging used to be done print by mailing. Well, we have all of those important information on the website and by emails. Remember cardstock paper application? The primary sponsor had to complete. and mail out to the secondary, tertiary, not by other means, by mail. Now it's all electronic. Abstract submissions and manuscript submission, it's gotten a lot easier. Sure, there's a little glitches here and there, but by and large, boy, we're never going back. For those of you current council members and have served in capacity as honorary fellows now, those 4+ inch thick binders, over thousands of pages, had to be mailed, and you had to actually review all the applicants and all the other important content. Boy, they were heavy. It's all PDF. Believe it or not, we can transform and move progressively. Learn how to use PDF files, reviewing paperless review of applicants. And yes, one area though, sadly, the hardbound great transaction book that we used to treasure, we no longer have. However, we have a digital version of it. And of course, all the administrative duties that secretary, treasurer, local arrangements chair have been transferred largely to management company, and they're doing a great job. So even as technology reshapes the world, our tradition endures. A single meeting room, engaged with discussions, publication of papers and jacks, new member recognition, Shipley Award, Tuesday banquet, presence of spouses and family and colleagues. These are not quaint custom. They're the connective tissue of our organization. Our Constitution Article 2 states that our mission, unmistakably clear, to further the study and practice of surgery in its various departments. In 1887, that meant scientific discourse, new operations, and the exchange of surgical ideas. In 2025, that mission remains, expanded to include innovation, evidence of generation, equity, leadership in a rapidly evolving healthcare landscape. Healthcare systems today are under enormous strain. Financial instability, workforce shortages, burnout, access, capacity crisis, safety and quality expectations, regulatory demands, cybersecurity threats. Who would have ever imagined? But it's real. As the EMR is the way of doing or conducting healthcare business, it's no longer simply an electronic medical record. With that, including AI, these are forces that don't simply shape policy, they shape the daily lives of our patients and teams, and they shape the world in which surgeons practice. Even House of Surgery itself is under pressure. Subspecialization has fragmented general surgery. Training expectations are shifting towards competency-based models. As you heard from Dr. McMaster's, EPAs and other projects that have actively been undertaken by the ABS. There's a new model of accountability and protection. Patients are older, sicker, more complex, and the environment around us is changing faster than systems that support us. Another challenge and opportunity is information overload. More than 1.5 million biomedical papers are added to database each year. That's over 4,000 per day across all scientific and technical fields. More than 8,000 papers are published daily. It's just unfathomable. New medical science articles appear every 26 seconds. 80 systematic reviews are published each day. This is not merely growth, it is exponential acceleration. And it is underscores why AI-assisted knowledge synthesis, not optional, it is necessary. We view artificial intelligence as a sudden revolution, but its roots span decades. Statistical pattern recognition, machine learning, deep learning. What has changed is actually scale. Big data, cloud computing, and the digital exhaust of modern healthcare have created the conditions for AI to become transformative. AI is not arriving into an empty world. It is entering a world filled with surgical wisdom, legacy, and responsibility. Surgical knowledge is no longer learned solely through apprenticeship, literature, or conferences. Today, 41 terabytes of operative videos are created each day in U.S. operating rooms. A digital archive of human technique and judgment. AI promises to transform these images into insight, but only if we demand rigor and guardrails against bias and ensure AI augments, not replaces, the operative judgment. We're shifting from retrospective quality improvement, such as M&M, NISQIP, root cause analysis, to more real-time, predictive, preemptive care. AI now allows for identify complication risk before surgical incisions even made. Detecting bleeding or leaks in real time, collaborate and globally in virtual surgical communities, integrating decision support directly into the operative console. Synthesizing literature and guidelines instantaneously. I'm sure all of you in the audience have used ChatGPT. It's pretty actually amazing. This is a different paradigm from reaction to prediction. Surgical training itself is being reinvented. High fidelity simulation, virtual reality, augmented reality that Dr. Klimberg in her address discussed a bit a couple of years ago. Procedural rehearsal, digital coaching or reshaping skill acquisition, automated video capture, and AI skill scoring offer objective assessments unbound by subjective bias or case opportunity. Remote proctoring and telementoring extends expertise beyond geography, democratizing surgical education. These are some images of AI generated. I mean, it's really amazing. It's a different time and era. This diagram, though it might be a little too busy, illustrates the innovative digital peer review and operating room coaching algorithm intended to raise surgical performance through peer review with AI innovation tool, structured feedback models, video analytics, strengthening the culture of culture. This is the evolution of mentorship, anchored in data, enriched by collaboration. The technological landscape is accelerating. Next-gen robotics with haptics and overlays, ultra-high resolution visualizations, semi-autonomous steps on the horizon, digital ORs generating structured data for research, predictive models for complications, robotic training pathway, AI-guided teamwork, telementoring, all this is innovation. But innovation requires evidence. We now have fluorescence-guided surgery. Many of you, perhaps all of you, use this on a routine basis for biliary tract surgery. Endoluminal platforms, techniques that eliminate incisions entirely. But our responsibility is to ask, which technologies improve outcome? Does it really add value to patients? Which increase cost without value? Hospital administration is asking that all the time. How do we ensure equitable access for rural, underserved areas and relative and global population? Innovation without evidence is just enthusiasm, but with evidence is future of surgery. Training also must integrate data, objective evaluation, psychological safety, tailor mentorship, and system-level literacy. We must preserve the best of the old, craftsmanship, judgment, humility, while blending in the best of the new, simulations, analytics, and continuous feedback. It is certainly a different time, and this is a designing of the augmented trainee, a surgeon preparing for the world ahead. But the pipeline is fragile. Lack of protected time, productive pressures, burnout, debt, and a false belief that surgical research is no longer valued. There are some sentiments out there. Our association must support young investigators and expand pathways for academic growth. We must invest in the pipeline of academic surgeon scientists, data science, machine learning, and way it can be used for developing perhaps a lot more effective immunotherapy, regenerative medicine, using 3D bioprintings, organoids. There are a lot of exciting advances out there. And it's ultimately to really improve how we deliver surgical care for our patients. Scientific frontier is also vast in analytics, nanotechnology, robotics, and outcome science is all changing. This cartoon depiction doesn't even do justice. It's vastly different than 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And ultimately, really boils down to fostering a culture of collaboration that future innovation depends on across department, institution, disciplines, working all together to develop networks, quality collaboratives, and integrated perioperative teams that'll perhaps reshape the care delivery model. Silos are relics, as they say, and the future belongs to the team effort. The greatest risk that we face is not change, it's irrelevance. Our founders were pioneers who embraced uncertainties with imagination and discipline. Today, we must lead the national dialogue on safe AI integration, competency-driven education, responsible innovation, workforce redesign, equitable access. Illustrated on the left side is a traditional academic leadership path. But surgical leaders today are stepping into various different leadership roles. Clinician informatics, surgeon innovators, surgeon entrepreneur, and service line leaders that represent the hospital, perhaps as chief operating officer, CEO, or CMO. Our profession is evolving, and the leadership must also evolve with it. Evidence is clear that hospital led by physician have higher quality scores, fewer complications, and better bed utilization, better satisfaction by the physician, and comparable or superior financial performance. Surgical leaders matter. Their perspective certainly matter, and presence at the table play an important role in making decisions. And transitioning from clinical roles to executive leadership requires literacy in finance, which can be really dry, but operations, culture, change management, workforce management, these are real important perspective or aspects of business model of healthcare today. And we as surgical leaders must be prepared to lead these environments. At my hospital, I'm fortunate to have had commitment and resources to support our mission and vision. This is our office of the Chief Medical Executive. We oversee and lead several important service lines, hospital units, and entities, and I believe close to about 1,600 employees, some fashion or the other, that we are responsible for day-to-day operations of the hospital and strategic visioning for our growth. One example is quality and patient safety today, requiring so much effort. It is not one or two individuals giving them a title, but you have to have resources and be able to use data and multitude of resources required, and ultimately using scientific approach, analytics to identify risk before, real-time OR integrated monitoring, for example, whether it's OR black box or other mechanisms or means. These are what's available tools that we need to leverage and utilize. That concept is particularly important as we at Dallas are building one of the largest freestanding children's hospital. This actually is a picture of Southwestern, some of the old alumni Clement Hospital shown on the left side, and the children on the right side. And those of you may be familiar with Dallas landscape. This is Harry Hines. You can kind of see it at the bottom of the picture. And there's a big hole on the ground with multiple cranes, over a $5 billion project. That new campus will go up in 2031. I believe that we're able to contribute significantly because having a seat at the table in the designing, planning, and what should be highlights of the hospital in 6 years from today. So my call to our membership is simple. Be the mentor you once needed. Be present in this association. Support emerging leaders. Champion modernization and inclusivity. Contribute to advocacy and artificial intelligence. Workforce redesign and addressing disparities. The greatest threat to surgery is not change, is indifference. Southern Surgical Organization is proud to lead the modern surgical world. Let us preserve our culture while shaping the future. Let us expand our reach, strengthen our mentorship, support research through endowments, and spotlight the next generation of leaders. Southern Surgical Organization is not a museum of tradition, rather it is a place for transformation and leading world of surgery. Surgery is transforming faster than in any era before. Healthcare systems are under unprecedented strain. Trained research and workforce dynamics are shifting. So Southern Surgical Association must lead in this critical transitional moment. In closing, we honor the past, we embrace the future, and we transform together. So with that, I'd like to thank the association having had the privilege of serving as the president, and I look forward to continue working with you for years to come. Thank you.